Buckle up, guys. This is going to be a long, ranty one. On the strength of my last post there, which was 4 minutes 22, I thought I need to do a longer one because that just kind of stirred up some thoughts in my head, and I just need to get it out. So whether I'll share it or not, who knows? But I'm going to share it on YouTube and probably do some shorts from it to lead you into it from Instagram. Now, what I think we're creating monsters in the youngsters of today. Like, we haven't set anything in place until something goes wrong, and it's all going wrong, and now they're trying to set things in place like, oh yeah, we need more stringent rules on what, you know, little ones can see and all that. Little ones shouldn't be looking at it, but we know they do because parents just stick them in front of an iPad all the time and go, here you go, bugger off. I see in my stepkids' faces, they have screen time, and they have a short screen time, like maybe 2 hours a day, which is a long time, but it's short for most kids. And when it's up, when their screen time is up, I see that pained, addictive, like yearning look in their eyes because it's been taken away from them. Now, I said to them, like, you know, why don't you try and space it out so that, you know, you're not using it all at once? And that just kind of doesn't compute to them. And I know what that's like. That's like me trying to say to my old self, why don't you just save a little bit of the bottle for tomorrow because you're going to need it when you wake up? Like, there's no way that was going to happen because I needed it there and then because I was addicted. Now, they're addicted as well. They're not like, you know, kind of robbing, you know, corner shops and doing all that so they can get more screen time. But where does it end? Where does it go? Where does it lead to? Well, you know, the thing is, when I'm trying to upload, like when I uploaded that 4 minute 22 video before the reel, it's like, you know, Instagram says we're not going to put this out in front of people that don't know you because it's too long. And, you know, like on YouTube, it goes from being a reel or a short to an actual video on YouTube. Now, I get that it's long. Most people don't want to sit through, you know, a 4 minute 22 video when they're scrolling reels, but the algorithm's asking you to do really short ones, like, you know, 45 minutes the sweet spot, even shorter if you can get all your information in. And a lot of the information that I'm putting out there, yeah, I can condense it into that, but I shouldn't have to. You know, we're creating this whole society of people that don't have any patience, they don't have the concentration, and it just, what does that lead to? It leads to people not having, like I said, patience from concentration. They need things now, snappy. Like I did a reel earlier about people, you know, putting down the screen, you know, getting off the phone, putting their TV off, because we love distraction. We need distraction. We're being fed distraction all the time. Like all these wars that are going on around the world, that's just distraction from what? The Epstein files? It's distraction. Like the thing is, because of this like slow burn of things changing, but changing fastly, but because they do it in such a slow, steady pace. Like if you told me 20 years ago that my phone has the ability to listen to me, spy on me, blah, 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 I'd have said, yeah, absolute bollocks. You know, that's sci-fi stuff. But that's happened, you know, and because we know it's happening, because you have a conversation with someone about, you know, I don't know, some printer you want to buy or some lion's mane mushroom, and you're just having a conversation, you're not Googling it, and then suddenly ads are coming up for printers and lion's mane mushrooms. Now, that's not coincidence. They are spying and they're listening, but because we've had this slow build, we've just accepted it. You know, there's nothing we can do about it, so we just accept it. And, you know, that is now what life's all about. Because of these slow, steady changes, we just have to live with it because, well, this is how it is, technology, blah, 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 we have to get on with it. But if you think about it, like all of these wars that are happening at the moment, it's making us numb to this fact. It's making us numb to wars. Like when I was growing up, we had the Gulf War, then we had the Gulf War II, and then I suppose we had, you know, Afghanistan, and that became this kind of thing that we didn't really know what it was, and it was just always going, and you kind of forget about it because it's not affecting you in your day-to-day life. But there's people out there that it is affecting their day-to-day life. You know, I know the Iranians, they're probably not happy about what's going on. previously to the invasion. But why is it up to the US and whoever else, Israel, to go in and do that? They're not the gatekeepers, the looking after the world for everyone. That's not their job. The UN does that. But it's happening, and we just have to accept it. I don't know if we do, but what can we do? Revolution? The fact of the matter is, I want to live my life, and I want to help people in recovery and with addiction, and that's my life. I'm not too fussed about what goes on in Iran. It's a travesty, and I feel sorry for them, and I would hate it if I had been unfortunately enough to be born into Iran or wherever else in the world, but I'm not. And I know that sounds really, really massively selfish, but I don't mean it to be. I'm just saying that I vote in like a Prime Minister. When I lived in the UK, well, I voted for a party. I live in the Isle of Man now, so we do the same over here. In the US, they vote for a president. They're voting for someone to take care of themselves in their country, and that's what it's all about. They're not asking that guy to get a step above his own pay grade and then go and start bombing other countries because he wants to put the price of oil up, or take the oil and take control of the oil. And also, there's loads of bombs being dropped, so that is a massive, massive industry in the US. So he's making an absolute shit ton of money out of that. All of this stuff is going on. We're seeing it on social media, so we're not actually, that kind of bothered by it, because we see it, and we see it all the time. We see like AI maybe of massive explosions going on. We go, oh, that's a bit fake. But then we see something and it's like, well, you know what? It's not happening in my living room. It's on my phone, so I'm protected from it. But we're not protected from it because we're being numb to it, and we're just accepting that these wars are not anything we can do about. Yes, there are. We vote these people in, and you know what? Revolution is not a thing of the past. Revolution is a thing that needs to happen, and it needs to happen very soon, because these people that control us, we don't vote for them to control us and keep us in our place and make money for their own coffers. That's not what this is about. We vote these people in so that we can live our lives and get on with our lives in a happy and abundant manner. Because the point is, why are these people on so much money? Like Keir Starmer, he's not a poor man, never has been, but he's on a massive wage as being a Prime Minister, and also he's getting all sorts of whatever getting in. I'm sure he's on little contracts here and there and all that. Donald Trump, fuck's sake, he's on like, well, what was it he said in his first term, that he would only take $1 because he's massively loaded anyway. But it doesn't matter about what he's earning from being president of the US. It's what he's doing in these backhanders and getting people, lobbyists to change things and do this and do that. Of course he's making an absolute shit ton of money through the back door, and I'm sure he's got stakes in whatever that American weapons manufacturer's called. It's gone out of my head now. But it'll come back to me. I'll post it on the thing. But yeah, like, this is the thing. But also, going back to the social media aspect of it, they're keeping us, I think it's just like booze. People aren't drinking as much anymore, although they're still drinking far more than they should be. But that kept us stupid. That kept us like, happy drunk in the background and not really wanting to rise up and say, whoa, what's going on here? Because you have a bad day at work, you have a long week, you get to the weekend and you sink a bottle of whiskey or a couple of bottles of wine. That's what you do. You shut up, you get on with it, you have a bit of a blowout over the weekend, and then you're like, well, this is my life, blah blah blah. The fact of the matter is, social media is doing exactly the frickin' same. It's just you're feeling down, you're feeling this, you're feeling that, you switch it on, and you see a couple of little kittens doing something and you laugh and you're all right. But then you see the darker side of it. They're sending you all this really dodgy, horrible, like you know, people falling off buildings, people, I don't know, there's some nasty shit that I've seen, and I'm like, why am I even seeing this? I don't want to see this, but it's there and the algorithm's pushing it towards me, so I'm just not happy with it. But you know what, there was a kid on a documentary the other night that just said, I think he was like 15, 16 when he started scrolling, and he saw something, and it was about immigrants coming to the UK, and he was like, oh well, that's not good, that they're stealing our jobs or whatever, because that's what this reel was showing him. And then he basically went on a mad rabbit hole that evening, and then more and more of that stuff started to show up, and it changed his ideology into being, it was basically radicalized him. Like just on his phone, the algorithm radicalized him into joining like far right parties, and the guy was like 15, 16, and I think he's in his 20s now, and he doesn't agree in all that ideology now, but it basically, his phone and TikTok radicalized him. So where do we fucking go from here, guys? This is mental. It's absolutely mental. I've got 3 stepkids, 15, 13 and 9, and they're all getting to that point where, you know, we're quite lucky that they're not on TikTok or Instagram or anything, but they're still getting YouTube shorts, you know, and okay, yeah, there's the kiddies version of that, but you know, the older ones have moved on to the adult version, and you can't monitor that all the time. It's too big. Everything's out of control. Like, Mark Zuckerberg knows it's out of control, but what you know what, like, he got a 4 million slap in the wrist fine today. That's not going to bother him. He's like, I don't know, 3rd richest man in the world. It's ridiculous. But what do we do? What do we do? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm at a loss, and I just think it's where the kids are at that's the most important thing to me. Like, I'm okay. I know my algorithm's fine, and I don't scroll for more than 10 minutes at a time. You know, I'll change it over and I'll do something else. But that's from my past being addicted, that I understand that, and I understand to step away from it when I feel like I'm falling down a rabbit hole or whatever. I've never been affected by advertising or anything like that. So I'll read stuff and I'll do this and I'll do that, but I'm pretty good on knowing what I'm doing. But kids, their heads aren't really formed until they're 25, so they don't know what they're looking at. And if they start seeing stuff that all the other kids are watching, oh, it's fashionable, it's this, it's 6, 7, they need to do it. They need to watch it because it's cool and it's all that. We didn't have that growing up. I'm not trying to sound like an old man, but we had a couple of little different cliques, and you know, the goths, the grungers, the rockers, the ravers, whatever. I was a bit of a mixture of all of them, to be honest. But the fact is, like, we need to protect them. We need to protect our kids, and it comes from the parents straight away. Like, set up blocks on your phone, set up all these things that you can. Don't just think they're a good kid and they'll be okay. It doesn't matter if they're a good kid and they're responsible, because as soon as that algorithm sets sight on them and what they might be falling into, if they hit a like or they looked at something for more than 10 seconds, that's it, it's locked in. And then they'll start sending more of that stuff. Even if they start saying, oh no, I don't want to see that, it'll go away for a couple of days and then it'll come back. So we need to fucking protect them, guys. We need to protect them. I'm going to sign off now because I'm getting wound up, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, guys. It means a lot to me, and like I say, I don't know what we need to do, but we just need to do something, because the governments aren't looking after us, and you know, the people are just lost in their phones and booze and drugs. You know, we need to get out of this funk that we're in. Cheers, guys. I do love you all. Bye bye.